What's up, everybody? Welcome to another YouTube reading. I guess you guys didn't mind the Zoom situation last time, so that actually makes it a lot easier for me to put out more readings more frequently. So we're going to do that because it's not what's important. This is not what's important. The message is what's important. For today's reading, I felt inclined to do something surrounding what it is that you are releasing at this time and then calling in with the space that you've created. So, as always, let's start with 3 deep breaths. Get in a comfortable position wherever you are, palms down to ground, palms up to receive. And a deep inhale through the nose and sigh it out of the mouth. 2 more, just like that. Inhale. Last one, biggest one. Hold at the top for a few seconds and release. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. All right. I also brought my mic out. We're getting real professional over here, okay? Because I hate when something has shitty audio. And so I'm hoping this makes your audio experience that much better. So we are going to start with my Sacred Symbols deck. I think that's what this deck is called. I don't remember. And we'll get some general idea of what is coming up, and then we'll consult the tarot and the psychic tarot deck and get some last words of wisdom as we always do. I was inclined at first to do a reading on Pluto moving into Aquarius because that's a huge transit. And if you're not familiar with astrology, join my newsletter at returntoself.me. I talk about it quite a bit. However, that one will need a little bit more, not necessarily prep, but it's going to be different for everybody depending on what house Aquarius rules for you. So I might still do that. But for now, we're going to see what it is that you are releasing at this time. So, as always, take what resonates, leave the rest. You're more than welcome to stay regardless. However, if the message does not fit for you, then don't try to make it fit. It's just not for you. That is the beauty of collective readings. It's all about your discernment, which you have been practicing and sharpening. Am I right? Of course I am. Okay, let's see here. Spirit, what is this collective releasing at this time, please? And thank you. I fucking knew that card was going to come out. That's crazy. I saw it before we even started. Okay. This may not be what some of you want to hear, but we got friendship. Okay. Some of you may be releasing some people from your lives at this point in time. Repeating ones, eights, and threes may be significant, specifically 33. Bottom of the deck, we have message with 33. Top of the deck, we have courage with 37 or 10 or 1. Yeah, for whoever this message is for, and I think you're already thinking of someone in your mind. There's someone specific who's coming up for you. There may be someone close to you, a friend within your inner circle. This, which sucks if this is true. This might be someone you've known since childhood or someone that you just considered a close friend. It feels like over time, especially in the last few months, you have been experiencing a disconnect of sorts. And this tends to happen when you are shifting, where you don't resonate with people like you used to. And it can be really jarring, but it can also um, point to just some misalignment, right? It doesn't even have to be a big thing, right? Where it's like, you suck and fuck you and we're done. I know that was kind of harsh for some of you. That's my language, so I apologize if that caught you off guard. However, sometimes a relationship has just run its course, and there is a fork in the road. And it feels even like with these crossed arrows, it feels like you and someone that you are close to are moving in different directions at this time. This friendship does not feel like it's going to be an easy one to end, because of the courage card that's coming up. This might have been something that's been taking up a lot of mental space for you. I can hear you almost trying to rationalize and talk yourself out of it, maybe even making excuses for the feelings that you're feeling. Am I reading too much into this? Am I making it up in my head? Like, no, that's not what it is. What's coming up specifically for me right now with this is this might be someone who is feeling threatened by the version of you that you are currently embodying. Because it feels like for whoever is resonating with this, you've recently undergone a big transformation. It may have been an ongoing thing over time, but you're really settling into who you've been becoming because it is now no longer who you're becoming, it is who you are. And so as you step into these new shoes and you get used to these new values, these new lifestyle habits, as you break away from old lifestyle habits, there just might be some people who are not there. And they may, as an attempt to keep you where it's comfortable for them, get defensive. I'm feeling some might get defensive and not even in like an overt way. It's almost like just kind of like talking shit, um, and trying to laugh it off as a joke, but you're clocking it and you're kind of making note of the fact that why, as my friend, would you say something like that? Because it's almost, again, like what I'm hearing are comments like, oh, now you're this, or ooh, my bad, all of a sudden, or oh, just trying to make you feel guilty for choosing differently. And again, this can be huge lifestyle decisions. This can be smaller lifestyle decisions. This can be as simple as I don't really feel like going out and drinking tonight to um I I don't want to continue dating this person. I don't want to continue talking about this stuff, gossip or certain addictions or um, because even with gossip, what's coming up is this might be someone who really gets a thrill out of talking down about people or really having a sort of, what's the word here? I mean, the word that's coming up is shitty. And it's like, Bruna, I know you have a better vocabulary than that, but shitty, like a shitty perspective, it's just, they might even be someone who is very pessimistic, someone who is always focusing on what can go wrong, very like, woe is me. Oh, okay. This is another thing that's coming up. For some of you, you are actively releasing your victim mentality. You might have been someone who constantly blamed other people, blamed situations, blamed circumstances for the unfolding of your life. And that might be something that you are releasing and letting go of intentionally. You are aware of this about yourself and you have made the decision to be like, I don't want to be that person anymore. I want to take responsibility of my life. I want to feel like I have some sense of control of my choices. I don't want to keep acting like everything is happening to me. I want to assert that everything is happening for me. These mindset shifts, which then are relayed into different actions you may take or not take, can affect the people around you. And again, the gut feeling I'm getting with this is these people, for whoever's coming up, that you may feel like some just static energy. You know, like when you are driving somewhere and you're listening to the radio and then all of a sudden you reach an area where that frequency is not available, it's like it's static now. You can't make out the words. It's just, it's not aligned. You have now surpassed or traveled past the area in which this frequency is aligned. That's what it feels like. It's just a misalignment. So there's static, there's friction. And again, it's not anyone's fault because you are focusing on your journey as you should. And this might be another thing you're releasing, which is you maybe holding back, you reverting to old patterns or entertaining old patterns in order to keep the people around you around you. There may have been things that you knew you just didn't really like mess with anymore or just didn't feel aligned for you, but you kind of would like put on a show, put on the mask because you were afraid of the reception you would get from those closest to you should you actually say, I actually don't want to do that anymore, or I am not really a fan of that anymore, or talk differently, think differently, act differently. Something happened though where you are realizing that that was screwing you over because you kept holding yourself back. You kept matching energy with people that were, again, this isn't about hierarchy, but they were just chilling here and they were comfortable here. And maybe you were even comfortable here, but something was kind of pushing you to like level up. And it's very natural, especially with the people we love and those closest to us, to want to bring them with us, to lift them with us. But that's not always going to happen, especially if you're trying to force it, because then the sort of hidden message that you may not even be intentionally giving, but might be received is, oh, you think you're better than me now, which creates resistance. So if this is resonating with anyone, because there's a reason I'm talking about this, lead by example. Okay. You can't force people to meet you where you are, but you can lead by example because they will notice. And depending on where they're at, they can make the conscious decision to choose to show up in the way that you are or to stay where they're at. And you got to be cool with whatever they decide because it's their life. One of the best things I remember someone telling me when she was sharing a story about someone in her life, she said that she got checked by someone else who told her, who are you to know what's best for someone else? Are you kidding? I was like, damn, bitch, that's true. That's a bar. And that's something that even I needed to hear. And I remind myself constantly because when you do care about someone, sometimes that care shows up in different ways, depending on how you are raised, the identities you hold, what you think your strengths are. So for me personally, I always held on to the identity of the fixer, the healer. Granted, like, look at what I do, but that was hurting me in some relationships because I realized that's not my job. And not only was it draining and depleting, it would repel people because that's their journey. And I think I'm helping them. I think I'm doing what you do when you love someone. I think this is what I'm supposed to do because this is how I gained love and attention and praise growing up, was taking on everyone's emotional burdens. However, they got to figure it out. And so instead, you just lead by example. You just do it. Stop talking about it. Stop preaching to people because words are empty unless you're backing it up by action. And when people see you aligned with the things that you say, which is integrity, when you show up the way you say you are, who you are, that's when people pay attention. And that's when they start noticing, like, you know what? So and so has been really happy lately, or so and so has been much calmer, or so and so seems really good. And then they may come to you for that advice. They may come to you for some tips. They may ask you, like, what have you been doing differently? Like, I noticed it. And then just give them the information when they open up the space to receive it. And then they'll do what they want with it because that's not your concern. But it is natural, especially with close relationships, to want to bring people with you, and that's not always the case. For some of you, whoever this is, and it might be more than one person, it might be a group of people, it might even be family that you considered like friends, which, yeah, that makes sense. Like, not all of your family members are like necessarily friends. You know what I mean? Maybe there just needs to be some distance for some time. The focal point feels like releasing the need to focus on anyone else right now. You need to focus on you because you are on a very specific journey at this time. Let's consult the tarot. Ooh, the burps are coming. I can already hear some of you asking, like, but how? Like, what do I say? How do I tell them without it being awkward or without it turning into a fight? I mean, this is another thing you need to let go of is trying to control people's responses to what's true for you. And this is obviously under the assumption that you're not coming at them. Like you're not like ready to fight, but you can be cool, calm, and collected. And people will still react in certain ways if that's where they're at. So release yourself of the responsibility of how they will respond. Your job is to be honest about where you're at and let them deal with however they feel about it. And I know that's easier said than done because you care about this person and you're still going to be on the receiving end. So I'll give you this, and you probably heard it before. Use I feel statements. I feel blank when you blank. And I feel it's best moving forward to blank. I was watching a TikTok the other day where she was talking about how to respond to people who breadcrumb you, which, if you're not familiar with that term, it's basically people who like give you a little bit just to keep you hanging on, but they don't actually reciprocate energy. They're not giving you enough to get your needs met. They're really only just giving you enough to keep you sort of there without investing into you. And her suggestion, she immediately after she said it, she was like, I know you guys are going to be like, that sounds like HR. And I get that for sure. And you know what that is? It's that we're not used to communicating directly. We're not used to just speaking what it is and being direct. And so a lot of us have confused that with being bitchy, with being harsh, with being too HR lingo-y or whatever else because we're not used to it. We're so used to adding padding to everything with minimizing what we actually want to say in order to ease the blow or really almost talking to each other like children. And this is a pattern and a habit we need to break out of because if communication is the key to so many relationships, which it is, and I would like to mention is only part of it because comprehension is also up there, then you're going to need to learn how to become comfortable with communicating directly. So, depending on what this situation is, learn how to be honest while also being compassionate. I've been noticing some things that you're saying to me, and quite frankly, I feel really hurt when you say these things, and I'm not sure where it's coming from. I've been doing a lot of work to become a better person, to right my wrongs, to lead my life differently because that's what I need. And I'm not really feeling supported by you. And I don't know where that's coming from. And I don't want to assume. And I'd love to hear your perspective. But I want to be clear that if that's how this is going to be, then this isn't a friendship that I care to invest in much longer. Maybe we need to take a break. maybe we need to take some space. I'm always going to be here when you're ready, but right now it feels like you're not supportive of the journey that I'm on. And I only have time and space for those people who are supporting me right now. Is that going to be hard to hear? Yeah. And stop treating people like your children. They're not your children, they're adults. We need to stop coddling each other. My Capricorn energy is real loud right now. Anyway, okay, can we get some clarity on what this collective is releasing at this time? People pleasing. Throat chakra blockages. Oh, my eyes are burning. Lots. Yeah. See? See? I mean, I know you can't see. Oh, my eyes are burning. Ooh, I don't think I blinked enough today. It's been a crazy day. Crazy good though. Crazy good. Um, as a side note, for anyone who enjoys travel, I put in my request today for another retreat I would like to host this year. I'm hosting a retreat in Thailand in March. That one's already closed for bookings, but I would like to do another retreat in November of this year. And the location is somewhere I've always wanted to go. And I'm really excited. I could scream, but we're going to keep it together, keep it cute. But if that's something that you're interested in learning more about, I will be releasing more information in the coming weeks. So make sure that you're subscribed to my newsletter, returntoself.me. Okay. Some clarity from the tarot on what you are releasing. Like I mentioned, you are someone who underwent a huge transformation because we got the devil card in reverse here. You have been really honest with yourself. And I don't know what triggered it, to be frank. I don't give a shit what triggered it. I'm just proud of you for noticing and for doing something about it. But you are someone who has done some deep shadow work. You are someone who really started to pay attention to the toxic energies within you and around you, which is probably why this is coming up. You are someone who has been really honest with yourself about where there may have been addictions, attachments, um, lust, greed, envy, um, unhealthy sexual behavior, like all kinds of different things that were really feeding your shadow and disconnecting you even further from yourself. And again, I want to be clear because I do a lot of shadow work with clients. If you're interested in getting a shadow chart reading with your birth chart, click the link below. I got you. Actually, bookings will open for that February 1st because we sold out for January, but February 1st, I'll reopen bookings for shadow chart readings if you're interested. Your shadow is a part of you. It will always be a part of you. It is not a part of you that you need to shame and push away and be like, get away from me. I don't want you here. That's the shadow is all of that you've accumulated over time. It is your repressed self. It is the part of you that you've judged, shamed, and tried to hide away. So integrating with your shadow is going to be the magic that helps you gain wholeness within yourself because you are not all love and light and you don't want to be all love and light because that's bullshit. And if shit hits the fan, you're not going to love and light your way out of it. Your shadow has gifts to give you, but when you continue to repress it, that's when the unhealthy and toxic patterns come up because it's you running from yourself. And in order to sustain the part of you that refuses to acknowledge these things about yourself, that's when you take up addictions. That's when you hook up with people you know you shouldn't. That's when you start doing shit that you know isn't healthy for you. And so shadow work is really sitting down and acknowledging those habits of yours and where they're stemming from. You're getting to the root. So, for example, and this is like a very bare bones type of example to give you just an idea. If you were raised in a home where anger was not okay, like you voicing yourself, you emoting your anger, feeling angry about something was unacceptable, then you grew up to shame that aspect of yourself. And so what happens? You don't just all of a sudden never feel angry again. That's literally not possible because you are a human being, and anger is actually a very potent emotion that has a lot of information for you because that tells you that either your needs were not being met or a boundary was crossed. That's important information. And anger is usually the one that's waving the flag to be like, alert, this is happening. If you had to suppress your anger because it was not allowed, then you grow up to be an adult who is now perhaps passive aggressive or who has emotional outbursts that are so intense because it was filling up, filling up, filling up to the point where you couldn't anymore and then you blow up. So if you think of like filling up in a balloon with air, and then if you just kept filling it up without stopping, it will pop. That's what happens because you didn't allow yourself to, over time, healthily release some air here and there, release that compression that you are feeling. So that's just one example. Obviously, if shadow work is something you're interested in, you want to learn more, I highly recommend my Deconstructing Shadow Work ebook. It's available on my site. It's only $10. It goes into shadow work and it has a lot of beautiful information. And we're also diving into shadow work as the new series for my newsletter for paid subscribers, and that's $5 a month. So if that's something you're interested in, all of that's below. With the devil card here in reverse, you are really facing yourself because what you desire more than anything is freedom, liberation, and you're understanding that the only person who can grant that for you is you, because a lot of the shackles that were holding you back were up here. And so that shadow work was really unveiling a lot of things for you, and you're reclaiming your power. And perhaps, unfortunately, that is going to require you reassessing and taking inventory on your environment, which includes the people around you. And for some of you, you're starting to see people differently because you are seeing life differently. You are seeing yourself differently. Things are starting to click, and you're realizing, like, damn, I don't think they're a good influence for me. And again, you may be inclined to try and like, red pill, blue pill, like come to the other side with me. But if they're not ready, they're not ready. You have to trust that as long as you are on your path and you are staying true to yourself, the people who are meant to be there with you will be there. They will be beside you. So you focus on the path that's true for you. We also got the Seven of Pentacles in reverse and the Three of Wands. Some of you are also releasing this need to know. This need to know, this need for certainty that can end up sabotaging things for you. There's a lot of impatience that might be coming up, and also sabotage is coming up a lot. Like, and this can look like different things. For some of you, it is impatience. So you try to rush things. And I think for some of you, you rush it knowing that it's probably going to blow up in your face, and you were comfortable with that because you were afraid that if you took your time. Okay. Yeah. I love when they're just like, it's this. Um, for some of you, especially if you resonate with this devil card and that sort of transformation, for a long time, you are here. Okay. Am I calling you the devil? No. But you were very much in this energy, if you know what I'm saying. And I think some of you really adopted that as part of your identity, and that's something that you're releasing. But because there was, and it feels like it's not even because you truly believe that, but because people along the way made you believe that you are this like dark, devilish, shadowy toxic person or whatever else, that you were just like not the type of person you bring home to mom or whatever fucking shit. And it's not true. It's not, and you know that it's not true, but for whatever reason, you allowed that to be true for yourself. And so you fed into that. You took it and ran. And so you tried to rush through things because you were worried that if you took your time and you went slow, eventually people would catch up to the fact that you're this devilish person and they want nothing to do with you because you're a monster. And it's like, but you're not. You're not, though. And you're realizing that. And so you're releasing these self-sabotaging ways. You also may have lacked um, long-term vision. You may have had ideas of what you would like to see in your life, but you didn't really put any energy behind it. You may have also given up too soon on things, not really put your effort into things. There was just a really heavy energy of like a lack of growth. I think you became really complacent with who you've been, what you've been up to, what you've been doing. And I'm sure whoever came up with this friendship release was happy about that because they were like, oh, that's my ride or die. We're going to do this. And now all of a sudden things are switching up. There is a lot of expansion here. Yeah, you're just seeing, again, perspective is coming up a lot. You're seeing things differently. Your foresight is differently, and it feels like whatever these shifts are that you're experiencing, and you might still be in the middle of it. Like there may not be a feeling of it fully settling in because that happens over time, but there is this newfound confidence in what you're capable of. And because you now feel confident, and again, confidence and courage is coming up multiple times. So this might be a word that comes up a lot for you, or maybe that's your word. It's one of my words for 2024. So this may be something for you that's coming up a lot. You have newfound confidence in what you're capable of. You have newfound confidence in who you are because you're finally getting to see your true self and not the self that you created in order to keep everyone else happy. You were playing small for a really long time, and now you're finally releasing anything that was getting in the way of you truly honoring your power, your energy, who you are in this world. And again, I think that started with a hard look at yourself. It starts within and then it happens externally. That's why now you're sort of taking inventory on your external circumstances. Am I living in a place that honors and nourishes me in the way that I need? Am I surrounding myself with people who have aligned values and who speak my language? Am I investing and pouring into people who are aligned with my purpose and where I'm trying to go? Do I have the conversations I want to have? Do I spend my time digesting information that is actually important to me, that helps build me up, that really allows me to flourish? Take a look at your social media accounts. The beautiful thing about the algorithm is it's showing you your consciousness back to yourself. So if your feed is full of bullshit, that's because that is what is happening within you. That is what you keep digesting. That is the energy that you are inputting within yourself. If your feed is full of things that are helping you grow, helping you learn, helping you be better, that is the wavelength that you're on. The algorithm is a great tool to show you your consciousness back to yourself. So, again, it's time to take inventory. I know we're still in winter, but soon enough it's about to be spring. And when spring cleaning comes, it's not just decluttering your tangible environment, it's decluttering your mind, it's decluttering your spirit, it's getting aligned with the people, places, and things that are true to your values. And I think up until this point, you weren't even sure what your values were, but it feels like you're starting to realize what those things are, which is a beautiful place to start building that foundation. Unfortunately, some people are going to have to be let go in order for you to no longer allow distractions or anyone who has ill intent or hidden motives Because again, it be your own people. That's the shitty part. It be your own people sometimes. And again, it's usually because they want you to stay who you've always been because it's a reflection of them. So if you're growing, but they're not, your growth is now a constant reminder that they are standing still. That's going to make people feel some type of way. Is that your fault? No. Is that your responsibility to change? No. It's theirs. But until they're ready and willing to see it and do something about it, you got to keep focusing on you. You do not sacrifice yourself for anyone else. Okay? You rise up and allow people to rise up to meet you. That is an invitation of love. That is you saying, I want you here with me, but you're going to have to do this. And not only are you going to have to do this, and this isn't abandonment, this is me telling you, I know you can. So I'll see you when you get here because I know you can do this. And let them show that to themselves. One of the beautiful things I learned when I was training to be a coach is asking empowering questions instead of just giving the advice, right? It's asking the right questions to help people come to the realization on their own. Because what you're actually doing when you do that is you're giving people the room to show and prove to themselves, oh, I can do this. I have it in me. That's how you break away from codependent relationships. It's not always like, here's the instructions, do A, B, C, D, and E. This is how you do it like this, blah, blah, blah. That's creating codependent relationships because now they don't have the courage or confidence in feeling like I can do this on my own. What they're thinking is, oh, I have to talk to this person. I have to continuously learn from this person. And listen, we live in a very capitalistic society, and there are a lot of people up in this world who monetize off of that. They monetize off of your vulnerabilities, they monetize off of your inability to figure it out. So they have the answers and then they market that so that they can take your money. That will never be me because one, I don't like codependent relationships, been in them for a really long time, actively breaking away from them. And number two, I know you can do this. And I also know that I don't know shit for you. Who am I to know what's best for you? I don't have the answers for you. What I do have are the tools and resources to help you gain the answers that you need for yourself. And I have full confidence that you can do that because it was always your journey. The answers were always there for you. It's just a matter of, am I seeing it? And if I do see it, am I doing something with it? And so I may help guide you to where those answers are, but you will find them. And when you find them, that's when you start feeling like, okay, shit, I got this. And that's when you start moving differently. And that's what's happening with you. There have been circumstances along the way where you really had to prove to yourself that you are not who you've always been, that you had to sit and acknowledge that you are not your parents, that you are not your exes, that you are not even the version of yourself that you've always known. It feels like for some of you, you had really potent experiences with people close to you or situations that put you in a position to show up differently than before. And you did that. And because you did that, energy started shifting, things started happening. Your mindset, the stories that you held on to were no longer true because you just disproved it. And when you can give yourself experiential evidence that what you thought to be true is actually not true, things start moving differently. I'm really proud of you. I just want to say that because I know this wasn't easy, but you're doing it. We also have Ace of Wands at the bottom. Ooh, Ace of Wands, Nine of Pentacles, the Chariot. Yeah, stay focused, stand your ground because things are moving forward and they're going to move quickly and they're moving forward in a way that will grant you the abundance, luxury, success, satisfaction that you seek. The reason you were not seeing your goals come to fruition, the reason the picture wasn't fully coming together was because you were not yet the version of yourself that you needed to be in order to sustain the manifestations that you were calling in. That's the part of this that a lot of people forget. You can pray for whatever you want, and that's great, but You need to be the version of yourself who is capable of not only recognizing it, but being someone who can hold it, who can sustain it, who can nourish it so it's long term. And you are getting to a place, if you're not there already, to where you are the version of yourself that is ready to call in these blessings and maximize them. Because again, and I see this often, it's like a domino effect. You think it might be one thing, but it's not. It's a lot of things. And it just needs that first domino to drop, and then everything's going to like go right after that. Things are going to move very quickly because you found the balance between the sides of you that you were praised and acknowledged for and the sides of you that you weren't, because you decided to give that to yourself. You decided to sit with yourself and be like, where is this guy coming from? What's hurting? Like, where are these stories even coming from? Who said that? Is it even true? Because I've shown up differently. I know I'm not just this person, but I know why I was this person. And I honor this version of myself because it got me here. But now we're going in a different direction. So again, you're finding balance, and that movement is now moving forward in a very quick pace, because before, these two horses, which we'll just use as this metaphor of your light and your dark, were going in completely opposite directions. So this, what is it called? Carriage? Isn't it carriage? Whatever. This thing, if they're not going in the same direction, you're not going anywhere. Chances are you fell off the damn thing because they're now like having a situation and you're like, what the fuck? So now they know where they're going because they have a combined destination. They're both moving towards the same thing. That's what's going to get you there faster. And that's what's going to get you there um, with intention, because there's a shared outcome. They are both working towards the same goal. That's why action is happening. You're determined, there's willpower. With the Ace of Wands here at the bottom of the deck, there is some new project or some new opportunity that's coming towards you if it hasn't already. And you're feeling really inspired about it. You're very passionate about something right now, and you're feeling inclined to take action towards it. You're feeling really enthusiastic. And this is part of this Nine of Pentacles energy, financial independence, self-sufficiency. You're going to see the rewards of your efforts because you're finally moving towards something that is aligned for you. Ooh, excuse me. But again, yeah, you're going to have to stand your ground, and you're going to have to clear your space of anyone or anything that's not aligned. Yeah, it just feels like we have also the Nine of Wands in reverse at the top, and then Justice. You were carrying a lot. Like, it feels like you, and it might be this person that's coming up or people coming up, but it felt like you were carrying a lot of other people's shit for them. And with the Justice card, it's like the scales needed to be balanced. That's why you may have needed to let go a lot, because it was like, there's too, give them back their shit. Let them deal with it. Let them figure out their karma, because that's what it really is. You were preventing people from dealing with their karma, with the consequences of their actions. They will never learn. And you needed to learn that it's not your job to do that work. You may have had to do that work growing up, maybe even as a child for your parents, whatever the case may be. But you are learning how to only hold what is yours, what is your obligation, what is your duty, what is truly yours, and giving everything else back. No longer feeling responsible for all these people as if they're your kids. Because let me tell you, they're not on your taxes. You're not getting a write off for this shit. So let them deal with it. Let them deal with it. All right. Okay, let's see what we're calling in now that we've created some space, harmony at the bottom of the deck. There may be a significant relationship. Ooh, hope. Some of you may have reignited hope on a situation that you thought was a lost cause. Accelerated motion. See, I told you things are moving quickly. You know why things are moving quickly? Because you made a decision. Whether you realize it or not, you made a decision. The universe can't move anything forward if you don't know what it is you're moving towards. And I think you've become clearer on what it destiny. You've become clear on your destiny, and that's why now shit's like on full speed. All right. Material spiritual prosperity. Y'all, it's time. Okay. What are we calling in now? I freaking knew it. Sorry if that startled you. Bottom of the deck, truth. Top of the deck, material and spiritual prosperity. The card that came out, heart chakra. There have been a lot of heart chakra activations happening lately. And again, this starts with self. You are releasing anything that was closing your heart up. You're opening your heart up now. So you're realizing that again, your power is within your heart space. And that was shut off for a really long time. And now you are only willing to align with anything that is aligning with your heart space, with your values that are rooted in your heart space. Some of you may have had values that were more materialistic, that were more fueled by ego. You may have had a checklist of, I need to have this job. I need to have this much money in my account. I need to have very focused on external validation. And what you're realizing is this is what's most important. All that other shit will figure itself out, but it's not going to figure itself out before you figure yourself out and figure out what you truly value when it comes to your heart. What does your heart beat for? What is important to you? What I love about the heart, and I focus on the heart chakra a lot, whether it's Reiki, whether it's my retreats, whatever it is, because it's my chakra that I've been working on for a very long time. The heart is so powerful to me because if you think about the chakras, and you may or may not be familiar with the chakras, but you have seven main chakras: the root, the solar plexus, no, excuse me, the root, the sacral, the solar plexus, the heart, the throat, the third eye, the crown. The bottom three are the tangible chakras. They can be considered more of the masculine chakras because they associate with your physical presence, your security and stability, your foundation, your ego identity, your movement, your creativity, your emotions, who you are in this realm. Meanwhile, the upper three chakras, your crown, your third eye, your throat, are your divinity. It is who you are beyond what we see. It is your expression. It is your intuition. It is your, again, your divinity, your ability to remember I am more than just this person in this body. And I am eternally connected to divine guidance and wisdom. And what's in the middle of that? Your heart. Your heart is literally the bridge between your humanity and your divinity. And a lot of us have forgotten that. And because we all steered away from our heart for so long, we forgot how to even bring these two together, which for some might be the light and the dark, right? The shadow and the ethereal. Bringing it together happens in this space because this is the bridge between the two. And a lot of you have finally allowed yourself to explore within your heart space, to grieve whatever was blocking your heart space, because grief is the block of the heart chakra, to find balance within your heart space so that you can connect your humanity with your divinity. And now you can move forward in a way that is aligned with your true self. I love that. Okay, let's get some last words of wisdom. All right, some last words of wisdom for this collective, please. Oh, shit, that's a deep message. All right. Bottom of the deck, finding balance. Just top of the deck, inhale and exhale. Breath work might be really powerful for some of you if you're looking for a meditative practice, especially if staying present is difficult for you. Breath work will be really helpful. We got staying alive, plant a seed and wait. The message I got when I saw staying alive, and trigger warning on this, but for whoever this is for, you may have been someone who was really ready to give up. You may have been really ready to just call it quits on this life. It was not proving to be worth the trouble. And yet, there was something bigger than you. There was something an inner knowing that you couldn't logically rationalize, but something that kept you going. Just another day. Don't give up yet. It's not time yet. You know that. You saw what we have planned for you. Don't give up now. And it feels like you are going to see why you didn't give up on yourself. Not only that, but I think you are going to start feeling alive for the first time, maybe ever. Because I get this sense that up until this point, you may have had moments of feeling alive, but it's almost like, those like depression commercials when they talk about the medication and everything's kind of like gray and dreary, and then like all of a sudden they take this medication and it's vibrant color. That's what it feels like. Like you may have had moments of vibrant color, but you were kind of just like passing through the days, going through the motions. And whatever you have been continuously releasing and now opening up your heart, which is the strongest muscle in your system, you are going to experience a life that is going to show you why being alive is divine, why being human is divine, why you are here, and why you are meant to stay. That's a really beautiful thing. Again, going back to that older message about impatience, plant a seed and wait. Some of you may be trying to see things happen overnight and you get disappointed. This is also kind of a message within this week's newsletter. Don't rush, but don't abandon. Just go slow. And I was referencing some advice my late grandmother told me before she passed when I asked her about love. And I was like, what advice would you give me about love? And in Arabic, she told me, go slow so that it's not just here, but it's here. Because again, we can oftentimes either be fueled by emotion and rush towards it, but we still have things we need to sort out here to allow that to be aligned. Or we think, oh, this makes sense. Like, let's just go for it. But there's nothing here. And so when you go slow, you give yourself time to find that alignment between the two. And I, to this day, in my entire life, never understood why people kept pitting your heart and your head against each other. Why would you pit two powerhouses against each other? They are both very valuable. And when you can find alignment with both, that is magic beyond belief. And it's possible. So whatever it is that you're feeling that Ace of Wands energy, wherever that card is now, to move forward on, to take that chariot accelerated motion on, plant that seed. You don't have to have every step figured out. You don't have to have the outcome already laid out, but allow yourself to take that step. See what happens. Plant the seed and wait. See what grows from it. Some of you, if you resonate with the impatience, you're so focused on the outcome, which again is ego. The ego is fueled by the outcome. What am I getting out of this? But you are now operating from a soul perspective. And a soul perspective is saying, I am moving in aligned action to where my soul is calling me because I know there is something there for me. And it's okay if I don't know what that is. And it's okay if I don't know how this will end. But I'm going to make that move because that's the magic of the universe. And I trust that it will show me why, and I will understand why. And regardless of what happens, I know that it is allowing me to go further on my path. So it might be a little tricky, especially with, releasing certain people, relationships, circumstances, experiences from your environment because they no longer align. But I hope that you continue to have the courage to do whatever is necessary to honor yourself, to honor where you're at and where you're going, because you deserve that. Again, you deserve that because you have been sacrificing a lot of your needs and wants for other people for a really long time, and you owe it to yourself to focus on your needs and wants and what's true for you. So, thank you as always for trusting me with this message. Again, if you want to work with me one on one, all of that information will be down in the description below. And I will see you next time.